Dear students, welcome to science class. I am Archana Dikshit. We are doing the chapter 2. In that chapter, we will discuss about the physical chemical changes and elements and compounds. Physical and chemical changes, in that difference you must understand. First of all, we will revise the physical properties. Physical properties of the matter, though we have discussed in the chapter 1, let us revise that physical properties of matter include the color of the substance, the hardness or softness of the substance, the fluidity, how it can flow, how much it can flow, density, melting point, boiling point, etc. So these are known as the physical properties. Now chemical properties, when any substance undergoes the chemical reaction, then it is called the chemical property. So now between the physical and chemical changes, that the interconversion of the state of the substance can take place. This kind of change is called physical change. For example, water can be converted into solid form, that is called ice. Water can be converted into gaseous form, that is called water vapor. So this is the best example for physical change, because properties of water, chemical property of water does not change. Chemical property will remain same, though physically you can say that it is in liquid, it is solid, it is gas, and its temperature also changes. So these are the physical changes and physical property. Now chemical change. Best example to understand chemical change is the cooking process, because you bring the things in the kitchen and you make something out of it. Now the further we cannot get the previous substance. In case of water, we have seen that we can convert water into solid form, that is ice, and ice can be converted into water form again by liquefaction. But if we take the wheat flour and from that we make the chapatis, then chapatis cannot be converted into wheat flour again. So this is a chemical change. Thus you can say the chemical change can be described as the change in which the substance changes chemically. That means the substance property changes chemically, or you can say chemical composition changes. So chemical composition changes of the substance in the chemical change, while in physical change there is no change in the chemical composition. One example is there, like burning of a candle. Now it is having the physical change also as well as chemical change also. Physical change because the candle burns and it turns into liquid wax, but chemical changes when it is burnt, so gas is produced. So you can say that it is chemical and physical both changes. Similarly, melting of butter. Butter is in solid form. When you heat it, then it changes into liquid form. While heating, its composition can also get changed. So that is also again example of physical and chemical change. Rusting of iron is a chemical change, because iron becomes brittle. Now we will discuss, so physical and chemical change you understand. In chemical change, interconversion of the state takes place, but no change in chemical composition of the substance. In chemical change, chemical composition of the substance gets changed. and we cannot obtain the previous substance from the resultant one. So all kinds of chemical reactions are the examples of chemical change. Now let us do the types of substances which we had done in the beginning, that is about element and compound. Element is the basic form of matter. Element is considered to be basic form of matter because further element cannot be broken down into simpler ones, simpler substances. So element is basic form of matter and it cannot be broken down into simpler substances. First of all, the element word was given by the scientist Robert Boyle. Robert Boyle, B-O-Y-L-E. And the definition was given by French chemist Lavoisier. L-A-V-O-I-S-I-E-R. Lavoisier. He defined the element. So you know that elements are made up of single kind of particles. Now these elements can be further divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metalloids are semi-metals. Metals, for example, copper, gold, silver, lead, sodium, potassium, these are metals. And non-metals like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, bromine, these are non-metals. And metalloids, metalloids are like boron, silicon, germanium, these are metalloids or semi-metals. So metalloids comprises of some properties of metals and some properties of non-metals. Let us see some of the properties of the metals. I have given you the examples of metals, so you understand that metals have particular kind of shine on its surface. That is called metallic luster or luster. Luster means shine. For example, silver is silver grey color. Then gold, you know, it is yellow in color. Then similarly, other substances have different colors. The important property of metal is that they can conduct electricity. That means they are good conductor of heat and electricity. Then they are malleable. Malleable means sheets can be made or foils can be made. You know, silver foil, aluminium foil. So foils can be made or thin sheets can be made. You know, aluminium sheets, etc. Also, if they are strike, they can produce sound, and that sound is nice to hear. That is why sometimes it is sonorous sound. For example, ringing the bell. Suppose iron is there. Now in iron, if it is hit, then it can produce sound. For metals, generally most of the metals are solid. But one mercury is in liquid form at room temperature, or you can say at ordinary temperature. So these were the physical properties of the metals. Now non-metals. Non-metals can be in solid, liquid, gaseous. Solid example carbon, liquid example bromine, and gaseous oxygen, nitrogen, you know. They are insulators. They are poor conductor of heat and electricity. They do not have metallic luster on them. For example, many of them are gases also. And they do not produce sound. They cannot be malleable. One more term is there, that is called ductile. Ductile means when wires can be made. So wires can be made out of metals, but non-metals cannot make the wires. Okay, so this was the introduction of the elements. Now let us see about the compounds. A compound is a substance which is made up of two or more elements combined in a fixed proportion. Let us take an example of water, H2O. Now this H2O has two atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So 1 atom of oxygen. So it will remain same whether it is rainwater molecule or it is seawater molecule or it is river water molecule. H2O is the water molecule which is always in a fixed proportion. So that is called compound. Another example, sodium chloride, common salt. This is having 1 atom of sodium, 1 atom of chlorine. So this is again example of a compound. Carbon dioxide, it is an example of compound. 1 carbon atom, 2 oxygen atoms, and they are fixed. Whether you burn the paper in India or you burn the paper in America, the carbon dioxide which is evolved, that will remain same always. 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms. Okay. So now further some certain things we will do about the compounds, that compounds can react, they can form the mixture. For example, if you take iron fillings means chips of iron, you can understand, very small chips of iron fillings and sulfur powder is yellow in color, we can mix them. So what will happen, it will make a mixture, it is not a compound. Though we are mixing two elements, but then also mixing will result into a mixture only, it is not a compound, it will be a iron filling and sulfur powder mixture. But if iron is made to react with hydrochloric acid, if iron is made to react with dilute hydrochloric acid, then it will form FeCl2 and H2. So 2HCl you can write here. Okay, I am writing again so it will be very clear to you. Fe plus HCl, it will form FeCl2 plus H2. Now here 2H2, 2Cl2, so you can write it here 2HCl. So this is a chemical change and it is a chemical reaction. When you mix iron and sulfur, it is a mixture only. But when it reacts with hydrochloric acid, then it forms the iron chloride and hydrogen. Further, we cannot obtain iron from it. So this is a chemical change. So now you understand the difference between mixtures and compounds. In case of compounds, the elements react to form a new compound. This new substance is formed, hydrogen and FeCl2. While in case of iron fillings and sulfur powder, they do not make any new compound. It remains a mixture only. It can be of various. Suppose 1 teaspoon of this iron fillings you can take, 2 teaspoon of sulfur powder you can take, then also it will be considered a mixture. If you take half cup of iron fillings and 1 teaspoon of sulfur, then also powder, then also it will be considered mixture. That's why you can say that it can have variable composition. But iron and HCl, you make to react, it will always form iron chloride and hydrogen. So that will not change. So fixed composition of a new substance is there. Now in case of compounds formation, for example here FeCl2 new compound is formed, its properties will be very much different from iron and HCl. While in case of mixture, you have taken iron and sulfur, so their properties will remain same in the mixture. And they can be separated also. Iron fillings can be taken out, sulfur powder can be separated. But here we cannot separate iron chloride into iron and HCl again. So these are the differences. On page number 26, the differences between mixtures and compounds are written so that you can do it. Now periodic table you will study, then you will understand that group 1 is having here, then you will study more about the elements and compounds. So these are the things. Now one more thing I want to explain you, that is about the crystal. Crystals are the particles of substance which have definite geometrical shape. It can be hexagonal in structure, it can be tetrahedral, it can be rectangular, it can be octagonal. So crystals have definite geometrical shapes. So what is a crystal if it is asked? So you have the answer, that crystals are the particles of the substance which are having geometrical shapes. Crystals can be obtained from the solution. Crystals are obtained by heating process only. Whatever liquid part is there, that gets evaporated. Generally it is water, and then the solid substance is left behind, and those solid particles are called crystals. Formation of crystals is called crystallization. Okay, we end our chapter here now. Okay, thank you students.